Get yourself a damn entity. Now you a business, dog. You a business. Damn. Ugh, why is everything childproof? Don't you know anything? Come to daddy. Bring back all your friends from summer camp. Love you. I'm going fast, daddy. I'm going fast, daddy. What's up, you guys? Welcome to this week's vlog. My name is Logan, H-A-N-D, and this is Make It Happen TV, a channel that's dedicated to the endless pursuit of making it happen, both in business and in life.
This is gonna make a lot of money.
I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I've been self-sustaining and thriving since about 22 years old, and I have started and made my, whatever you want to call it, successes, if you will, starting by investing in real estate as a full-time wholesaler. Then I learned how to flip. Then I invested in apartment buildings, and then I took the money that was made from reselling those and invested into franchises. And now I do all sorts of crazy stuff, including buying businesses, all that crazy shit. But this week's episode of the vlog is all about something that is the first major useful skill that I learned in my life, which is how to wholesale. Yeah, I said it. How to wholesale. And not just how to wholesale, but how you can start wholesaling in 2020 for what I would consider the least amount of money possible. You know one thing about me, my friends will tell you, I can sometimes have cheap tendencies. So if I'm telling you it's the cheapest way to get in the game, it's almost certified that it's probably likely you can't do it for any cheaper, because I would have already sniffed out where those gold coins were. Not exactly free. There is a caveat to all of this. I know a lot of people think that, oh my gosh, you can wholesale real estate for free or buy and invest real estate for free. The reality is there's still gonna be some money that you're gonna have to spend in systems and some marketing and doing stuff like that to get yourself your first deal. It will never actually be completely free, even if you don't have to buy the property. So let's dive into it. First and foremost, let's figure out what the wholesaling is in the first place. For those of you that don't know what it is, let's roll. All right, so for those of you that don't know what wholesaling is, and maybe it's your first time being exposed to it, here's a quick summary. Wholesaling is the art, yes, the art of investing in real estate with little to no money invested into the property. And you might be like, how the frick is that possible? Well, this is how it's done. Basically, you find a seller that is what we define as a motivated seller. Somebody that has some serious motivation that they're going to sell their property at a steep discount compared to its full market value. Now, these properties are normally distressed. They're not in great condition. They normally have title problems, and there's normally something going on in the seller's life that makes their situation pretty difficult. So your job is to pinpoint those people. Some examples might be people in pre-foreclosure, people that are behind on their property taxes, people that are landlords that have recently evicted somebody, people that have liens on their property, people that own a vacant property or they don't live there, it's an absentee owner. All sorts of different things make up a motivated seller and give you reasons as to why they would sell it for a discount. So, first thing is you find those people, you identify them. These are off-market properties. You approach those sellers and you say, hey, I'm a real estate investor. I'm interested in purchasing your property at this price. And you crunch your number, negotiate directly with them to buy their property for cash and close in a period of time, which is typically 30 to 45 days or less. And you, what we call, lock that property up under contract with a purchase and sale agreement that has assignable rights. So you now have, in real estate, what's called equitable interest in this particular piece of real estate. And your equitable interests are assignable, which means you can have somebody take your place as that buyer and deliver and close on that property under the same exact terms that you negotiated. Now, these buyers are typically flippers, landlords, and people that are going to see the project of this property all the way through to the new market value of what it should be if it was totally renovated. Now, these types of real estate investors, they pay with cash, just like what you're negotiating. They close in less than 30 days, just like what you're negotiating. And they can deliver on the same terms that you agreed to pay the seller in your purchase and sale agreement. During your time to purchase, you are the only one that has the exclusive rights to buy that property. So you can charge these people, the flipper, the landlord, the end buyer, if you will, what's called an assignment fee. And that fee will vary based on the numbers of the property, based on what it's worth, what it needs in repairs, and what you were able to secure the purchase contract for. An example would be, say you got a property that's worth $200,000. You were able to buy the property from the seller for $80,000. The property may need $50,000 to $60,000 worth of work. So 80 plus 60, now you're at 140, it's still worth 200. So there's a little bit of room there where the flipper could still make 30. You may be able to make 10 to 15,000. That would be an example of how wholesaling works. It's a great way to get your feet wet into the real estate investing business. It's a great way for you to understand how properties are valued, the amount of construction that it will need, and of course, generating liquidity, my favorite word on earth. Liquidity. Just feels so good when you say it. Anyways, out of almost thin air. But there's a whole entire process that goes into getting that first deal and or any deal under contract, delivering it to an end buyer that you have a relationship with, and then making your money, getting that place closed. So let's talk about how you can get into the game for the cheapest, littlest, fractional amount of money ever. And if they say that as a YouTuber, when you change angles, it makes you so much cooler. So I'm going to be switching these angles up and trying to make this not so boring. So step one, get yourself a damn entity. Now you a business, dog. You a business. Pretty simple. You can either go to your state website, I would just Google whatever your state entity setup website is for your state. Will always be cheaper if you go directly to your state website instead of paying like a LegalZoom or something like that, because they're going to charge you more than what the state is. That's how they make their money. But if you have to go to LegalZoom, it's not that big of a deal. Probably it'll cost you like $100 to $200 to set up an entity. I think it's worth the $100 because it limits your liability. If you do it in your personal name, you're going to be subject to a lot of liability. I would just get an entity. It's totally worth it, and then you'll have it moving forward. Here's a lesson that I learned from making this mistake myself. Choose a business name that is seller friendly. What I mean by that is that it appeals. It appeals more to sellers than investors. Here's the thing. Your investors don't give a shit what your business name is. They're in it for the deal and for the money, and they don't care what your name is and what you call your company. Sellers, they need to see something that's seller friendly, whether that's, John Buys Houses or A1 Investment Group or, something that has to do with the process of selling. Sell quick, get cash, or move fast cash, whatever. Something that resonates with sellers. Name your business, your LLC, something that resonates. All right, so we're in business. We got our entity. That'll probably take a few days. Next step I would highly recommend is I think you should get some business cards. Why? Let me tell you why. The last thing you want to do is finally get a motivated seller. And you show up to their home and they're like, hey man, let me see your business card because I want to make sure you're a real Like, I want to make sure you really in business, dog. And you're like, oh, I don't have business cards. And they're going to be like, for real? You can't even get business cards? And then for some reason, they now don't trust you because you don't have a damn business card. And you don't want to lose a deal where you could maybe get $15,000 to $20,000 from a stupid $20 business card. So go to Vistaprint, get yourself a damn logo. You can make a logo on Fiverr for $5 of whatever your company name cards. I don't think you need a website. I've done hundreds of house deals without a website, and honestly, if you're going to do PPC ads, which are way expensive, and obviously you're not watching this because you can afford PPC ads, then skip your website. You can do that later. But if you have to do it for free, Wix, duh, simple, not that hard. All right, so you got that, you got your entity, you got your thing. Now we got to figure out what is it that we need to do to start talking to the right motivated sellers to potentially get us a deal. In my opinion, in my experience, I have had one particular lead type that has given me the most amount of deals in my career since late 2015. And it's been pre-foreclosures with equity. And what a pre-foreclosure is basically a property that's entered into foreclosure status, but the bank has yet to take the property back. So they have quite a bit of motivation to sell the property. So that's what I'm going to show you to target first, because in my opinion, you get the best deals when you focus on one lead type and you get really good at that one lead type, and those leads have to have a good amount of motivation. So we're going to show you how to pull a list of people that are in pre-foreclosure that have at least 35% equity, and we're going to show you all the steps involved with getting that list, skip tracing that, getting on the phone with them, and then making the appropriate investments to get your first deal. All right? So where I'm going to send you and where we're going to start this is a website that I have made hundreds of thousands of dollars from, called realtytrack.com. Let's go there now.
Just the screencast recording thing on here. So here we are. Sorry if the audio is not perfect, but that's all right. We'll move on. All right, so when you log in, you're going to see a bunch of random stuff back here. Let's go in the search bar here, and let's just go, I'm going to go to search homes, pre-foreclosures, and then what we're going to do is we're going to type in, I'll just use the county here for Tampa area, which is Hillsborough County. Yep, Hillsborough County, Florida. So we're going to click search. And then, guys, it's very important, the data that you're watching, how I filter this. So you're going to click filter. I would cap the home value maximum to a affordable home price in your market. So like in Tampa, I don't want to look at any home that's over $400,000 because that starts to get into a price range that's extremely hard for me to move. Everything is, pretty much under 300, and sometimes I'll even go to 350. Just depends on how much records I need. I don't mess around with bedrooms, bathrooms, home size. I kind of keep all that. The entry date I do within the last 12 months. So it's important to look at all that stuff. And then what I do is single family, condo, townhouse, multi 2 to 4 units, and I don't check any of this stuff because I'm not interested in vacant farm or manufactured homes, because in Florida there's a shitload of trailers and they blow away with like every hurricane, so you just bought like a pile of tin and rubble. Great. Woo! Awesome. Now, if you want to go after multis, but I would not suggest doing that for your first something deal. And then what's important are these filters over here. Now, I don't have this activated because I buy all my data in bulk, which is through the Atom data, like I showed you how to click. But this is the parameters that I pull. So what you're going to want to use is the LTV function, because it is normally more accurate than the equity. So what you want to do for LTV, you want to do 0 for the minimum, right, to 65%. So this is a percentage. LTV stands for loan to value. So if you have a 0% loan to value, that means you have 0% of your property in debt and up to 65% of the property in debt, which would be the mortgage. And the reason why is because in order to do a wholesale deal, you really need a minimum of 35% equity to make any money as a wholesaler. So I want to put that in there. So write that down. Then if you want, I don't mess around with the auction date, and then you want to exclude the listed foreclosures, not include them, because they're already listed as a foreclosure, so you're going to want to exclude that. And what's going to happen is you're going to, once you click, run the search, you're going to see tabs just like this. You're going to want to make sure you're on the pre-foreclosures tab. And what you can do for free, basically, this is kind of a hack, you get 300 records per month that you can download just by clicking this little thing here and then click download. And then it'll go into a CSV and then you'll be good to go. However, the problem is once you have more than 300 records, which you should, if you do 3 to 5 counties, then you're going to have to resort to a little bit of creativeness, which is copy and pasting. So what you're going to do is you're going to come to this record, and I recommend the quickest way is to actually click on it first, And then when you click on it, you're going to have all of the information that you need. Set up your spreadsheet. All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take the address, which if you have an account, the complete address will be right here. You're just going to copy that address. You're going to have your little spreadsheet up over here. So, say you have a Google Sheet. So if I just went like this and I was like, all right, sheet, whatever, you get the point. So you're going to copy that address into one cell. Then you're going to come down here and you're going to put this person's name here, which is the defendant, right? So that's the property owner's name. And you're going to copy that person's first name and last name into the spreadsheet in a second column for owner name. And now you've got owner name and owner address. And if you have a, if there's a different address listed here for mailing address, include that too. So now you're building your thing, and you want to take the primary owner name here and make sure that it matches the defendant name. If the defendant name is different than the primary owner name, then what you need to do is you need to take down both information, primary owner and defendant, but what you're going to skip trace is the primary owner, all right? So that's basically what you're going to do, and you're going to repeat that same process. You don't need any other information from here other than the address, the owner name, the defendant name, and if they have a mailing address. That's the only stuff you need to know, unless you really want to get all this other information, but I wouldn't waste your time getting it. Once you're done one record, you're going to go back, and then it's going to have all the records where you were, and you're just going to rinse and repeat and build your own list. So that's how that process works. If you don't want to spend all your time doing that stuff, you can simply go to inside here when you're in your login screen, and for mega marketing lists, which is Atom Data. Once you get here, Atom Marketing List, and you'll have to sign up for another account here. And this is where you can download all the records that you're searching instantly, and they just charge you per record that you download. And if you have some extra money, I think it's worth saving the time, but that's up to you. I'm trying to show you the cheapest way possible, and the cheapest way is to pay for the monthly thing and, copy and paste all the records. And then you can always cancel after you get all the records you want until you need to pull new records. So that way you're not paying every month on this fee, and you can just reset up your account every time you need to pull new records. So that's step one. Step two is going to be now skip tracing. I'm going to show you how that works. Skip. Need to skip. Yeah. All right. So here you are. This is bulk skip tracing. This is my recommended source. In my opinion, they are the best, and they give me the best data, and their prices are pretty freaking sweet. So you're going to want to get started, and then when you go to upload your thing, you're going to click Start Skip Tracing. To set up an account with Need to Skip, actually, they changed the way that this website works. Before, it was a little different, but I like the new version. I've recently been using a company called REI Sift, which sifts through the data that you could compile, and then they also skip trace. So I haven't used this, but this is a cheaper option than REI Sift. So at this point, you can either add balance here, which you can add like an amount of money that you're going to spend for how many records, or apparently now you can pay $19.95 a month to get your records for 16 cents, which is very, very cheap. So this is going to be 16 cents a record, guys. So make sure you do the math on if you can afford that. But that's, I can honestly say, probably the lowest price you can get. Also, if you just want to do it this way, I have a discount code for you that gets it to, I think, 18 cents without the membership. At least it was working the last time I tried it. So I'll add that discount code in the description below so that you guys can use that. So basically, you're just going to add your balance, and then you're going to go over here to skip trace. You're going to upload your file here, and then you just need to make sure that the settings of your spreadsheet is in a CSV. Plus, you also need to make sure that the headers are matched up appropriately, all right? Do not mix up the mailing address and the property address. You want to skip trace the property address, not the mailing address, okay? So just make sure you get that right and upload your file. There should be a template on here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Really can't screw it up. Just make sure that your thing matches the format that they need. It's pretty simple, and then they will shoot you back a skip trace list when you're done. And then the next step that I'm going to show you is what do you do once you have the list back from being skip traced, all right?